Whoops.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Everyone. We are streaming live. We are here on StreamYard. We are on Facebook. We are on LinkedIn. We're on YouTube. So we are everywhere today. And I'm here with the one and only Dean and Steve.
Well, we're two people.
You guys ready?
We're not the one and only. We're the two and only.
Well, the two and only. But that's weird.
Details matter.
Yeah. What he said.
Sure do.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, happy holidays. All right. You guys want to take it from here? Nobody wants to hear me.
I think we'll do that. Ooh, look who we have here.
Hunter's
here.
What's up?
Where do you see all this?
On the right side on the chat. Click comments. I know it's a technology thing, Dean.
Yeah, well, yeah, I got it. Okay, Hunter's here. Hunter.
Right. I'm gonna pull myself off, and you guys take it from here.
Okie dokie. Appreciate that.
Okie dokie, Smokey.
Oh my goodness, Dean. As we get towards the end of the year, and it's always like this at the end of the year.
Yep.
People they're looking back on their on the trials and tribulations, the highs and lows of the past year, looking forward to the next year, trying to pull out their magic 8-ball and get some sort of headway, some lead on what's going to actually happen, so they can prepare themselves for the the year ahead.
Yep.
But damn, it's been quite the year for our profession, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been. It's been a interestingly roller coaster type of year.
And I don't know, this is the kind of roller coaster I think people vomit on.
Oh yeah, I didn't say it was
they spew on the person in front of them, behind them, down below.
Pretty much.
It's been one of those things that are we have God, I think some of the worst behavior I've ever seen in all my years in this profession.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt.
Oh gosh,
some of the things said, some of the things that get put out there in the internet sphere, social sphere, whatever you want to call it. Some of the negativity. It's been one of them years where
you do. I know many people really are questioning whether this is a profession that they want to be in for the long term.
Yeah, I mean, I was just watching. I was just kind of keeping half an eye on a thread on Facebook where there was, and it's not the one we talked about earlier, but another one where people are talking about, hey, it's time to find something else. Recruiting just ain't going to be it. Sourcing ain't going to be it. Staffing ain't going to be it. Find something else. Get into something else. And I'm like, okay.
It's never like there's always been attrition in this profession because if there are, unfortunately, there are people who come in thinking this is easy money. Get on the phone, make a couple of phone calls.
Oh yeah,
pull a couple of people off the Blue Devil. Bam, you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the reality of it is that the foundation for this profession has been really precarious for decades.
Oh yeah. We are historically always the first ones hired and the first ones let go. Get hired when they need to hire people, go as soon as they're done. Kind of disposable in a way.
Yeah, and even more so, it's all the bad behaviors.
Yeah,
that recruiters almost wear as badges of courage. I'm not giving feedback. Hey, if they don't hear from you, if they don't hear from me, not a big deal. I'm going to write copy. I'm going to write job descriptions that just don't resemble the real job, and it goes on and on and on. Now in the last 18 months, I believe it began roughly February 2022. We started seeing things little by little pick up speed. So the last, I guess 18 months has seen some of the, literally the highest number of reductions in force for the profession ever.
Yep, I agree.
And Hunter, that's a good point. Not only just bad behavior, but almost posting about it almost in a braggadocio sort of way.
Yeah.
Who knew that Halloween now is something that's with us every day of the week? This unfortunate concept of ghosting people, and then rationalizing it by saying, well, we just don't have time, or our lawyer said no, or how to do that with
the lawyer thing is completely the lawyer thing is a complete another cop out. There's no lawyer that's going to say you can't tell somebody, hey, we got you, we looked at you, we don't think it's fit at the moment. There's nothing wrong with that. Now you can't. I understand they might be cautious about getting into specific reasons why, because I could get that, but just a general something. No lawyer is going to say no to that. No. Been down that road, and no lawyer I know. I won't know I've ever. You can't do that.
But but my experience is that there are plenty of companies. One benefit of me, doing so much consulting through the years, and working for heavier on the smaller company, the ones with no brand, bad brand, is the reticence to put forth outwardly a feeling of honesty.
Yeah, and then the thing I find interesting, and it's not now, but sometime the whole thing is cyclical. So what's going to happen is, okay, there are not a lot of jobs, a lot of people. So we can treat the people like doo-doo. Well, it's going to change, and there's going to be a lot of jobs, but not enough people, and then it's going to come back to haunt some of them.
It's that doo-doo thing that really gets people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You treat them like doo-doo.
Yeah, but people, and I think people forget, they want to talk about social sphere, they want to talk about ChatGPT, they want to talk about all these other things, but what they forget is people talk.
Not only
everybody's going to say 100 people said they treated me badly, they didn't do this, they told me I sucked, they boom, 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 and people are going to be like, why would I want to work for them?
Every bad experience. This is a mantra that you would think would be, part of the core of every TA leader, and then push the antidote to this. Solve this problem down into their TA organization and upwards. Through the leadership ranks, through the hiring managers, is every bad experience with a company, every non-experience with a company means there's a potential to lose at least one customer.
Oh yeah. And
likely so many more.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, I don't know why, companies and, TA organizations, HR organizations are reticent. Why are they okay with losing potential customers?
Because they don't think about the long term. And I'll give you, and I'm going to kind of see if this ties in.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people, they let it out for recruiters. They let it out for recruiters because they don't think they're going to hire a lot right now. Like, as an example, I know somebody, nameless, got let go November. And they got let go because they're not going to be hiring until the end of Q1. So they basically wanted to save 4 months of salary. Okay, now let's think about this for a minute. You're going to save 4 months of salary. Great. End of Q1, that's March. You decide you need a recruiter. It's going to take you 3 months to narrow it down to a couple to interview, another month after that to go ahead and get them hired. That's 5 months now. Then it's going to take them another 6 months to a year to just get used to the company. Now you're at year 6, and then another 6 months to even become halfway producible. That means you're at 2 years. So basically, to save 4 months salary, you're willing to pay 2 years of salary because no one's doing the job. That's 2 years of salary. And it's because people aren't thinking about long term, and more, and just as important, they're not thinking, what else could I be having my recruiters do? Why can't they be updating job descriptions? Why can't
it's more than it's more, by the way, that's actually a whole nother a great.
Well, I think they're connected now.
But then no, but that's actually one of them. It's fix if you and others have heard me talk about how recruiting, sourcing, branding, everything, they're all part of the foundation upon which not just talent acquisition and hiring, but which the whole company is ultimately built upon. And if you liken it to, you know, buying an old house and then spending all your money painting it, putting on a new roof, putting on new windows, putting on new shutters, but failing to check if the foundation was strong enough to support all of it.
That's a good analogy.
That's the biggest problem. It's, you know, this will delve into our, you know, talk about predictions and whatnot, but, you know, we're seeing. By the way, this is a wonderful age for talent acquisition technology. Unequivocally, there is so many good things coming down the pipe. I'm actually seeing fewer companies say, introducing their product, introducing their platform, introducing their tool with recruiting is broken, this will fix it.
Oh yeah.
What they're doing is they're saying things like, this will do this. You know, they're keeping the broken part out, without, any substantial backgrounds to it. You know, it's typical marketing stuff. But going to, all these tools that are going to help you find people. Really, that's just one part of the process, but we've talked about this offline. If you don't understand, as an example, all the different elements of Boolean searching, and not just on Chrome, but on Firefox and Safari, on Opera, etc., Bing, whatnot, and you rely on automation to do it for you, how will you know that what you're given back is accurate? I mean, but it's like old engineering. I'm an old engineer, and we didn't have the luxury of AutoCAD and simulations and whatnot. We had to do all the math by hand. So consequently, when we got older, we had to build things. We understood how things work, how systems work together. There's nothing wrong. An engineer is an engineer, whether it's an engineer who graduated and I did, or an engineer who graduates today.
Mm-hmm.
It's the mind, but it's to the extent that you how far upstream, how deep into the foundation, into the structure can you go to truly understand what it means?
Here's my feeling. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but that's it. I think automation is not the solution. It's how you use in technology. It's how you use it, and understanding how things combine, how things don't combine. Continuously educating yourself.
I think you're right. There are a lot of tools out there that, whatever their marketing shtick is, I think the thing people need to understand and remember about all of them is, number one, they all pretty much have the same people, to be quite frank and honest. They're almost all going to be all the LinkedIn people, probably the GitHub people, and that's really about it, because everything else takes a lot more effort to do. So people need to understand that I'm big on tools. I mean, that's one of the things I'm known as, and I use tools, but tools are not my alpha and omega. I don't just use them. I do other things as well. And, Boolean allows you to do these other things to find the people that, if we take the tools, they all have almost all LinkedIn people. Okay, so let's say if we allow LinkedIn to have its number it likes to throw around, 680 million. We know that's not legit, but let's say it. And then they have the GitHub people, another couple of million, few million, some of which you are not on LinkedIn, by the way. About 60% of them are not on LinkedIn. You got that. Okay, so all total, that's about, we'll say 800 million. Well, here's the problem with that. Facebook's got 3.5 billion. For a fact that means not everybody is on those two. How are you going to recruit off Facebook? Well, most of these tools don't do it. And so how else are you going to do it? Or example, here's a good one. You want to find somebody who has considered an expert for the purposes of a trial, an expert Java developer, as example. And yes, there are such a thing. Well, they're not going to be in LinkedIn. They're not going to be on GitHub, and therefore those tools ain't going to have them. There is a way to do it though, but you got to know where to go and you got to know how to do Boolean to find them. That's
and once you have the the foundation elements down, then you learn how to combine these things together. And then the stuff, and then anything that's AI or AI-ish is simply a vehicle to get you from one spot to the next.
Right.
And then we get into the one of the biggest areas that probably I can't say it's the most important area. They all of them combined, but 2024 we're going back to being I think engagement focused, and I'm okay with that.
Well, you're really good at writing emails and talking and engaging.
Yeah, but and so was anybody can. I wasn't always. I mean, that's hard to believe. Both of us, we can get up on stage in front of 1,000 people easy, and we can engage with the audience. But it's something. Being great at engagement means in no short terms being able to see all the possible paths that you can go down or that can actually present themselves to you when you're talking to a person. It's being able to banter with them, to assuage their fears, to running them through ranges of emotions. Because ultimately what we want to do in recruiting, when we do finally engage somebody and we talk to them, we want to be excited by them. We want them to be excited by the opportunity. We want there to be a match. And these are the human elements. That tools are great, and there are incredibly wonderful platforms for engaging people. Maybe we'll even talk about this, how I think 2024 might be the year that CRMs get their due.
Yeah.
And then putting together campaigns. I saw in a couple of other one. I think Animals Group. I think it was, of course, where someone has something on the order of like a 24-point engagement plan, and it looks nice. It's a beautiful graphic, makes for great presentations, but I don't think that technology is going to allow for 40-point, and I don't think that that's a good use of time.
Well, first of all,
you want to be able to engage reasonably quickly.
First of all,
accurately.
Yeah, if you're going to engage, okay. So I agree, engagement's going to be important. It always has been. For me, when I look at this recruiting life cycle, finding them is always the most important because you can't engage, you can't find. But after that, engagement's the most important piece. Because the reality is, if you can't get them interested in the job, you can't get them to reply to you, what does it matter? Nothing beyond that matters. Text screens, all the other crap stuff. People, recruiters, sourcers, whoever's doing the engaging needs to understand certain inevitable facts. Number one, you shouldn't write a book for your initial email because people aren't going to read it. Two paragraphs, short paragraphs. That's it. Period. Open, shut. It should be about the candidate, not about you. My name is so I work here. I have a job for you. Please reply. That ain't going to cut it. Because what does that get? How does that help the candidate? The candidate wants to know what you're going to do for them, not what they can do for you. Obviously, they know what they can do for you. I'm a Java developer. I'm going to develop Java stuff for you. Let's not be stupid about it. And these subject lines, they've got to be short and they got to get your attention, because the reality is 80% of the time, these people are going to get it on their cell phone. So if it's too long, they can't read it all. They aren't going to. If that thing doesn't get their attention immediately, they're not going to stop and read it. The other thing that people need to keep in mind is when you write the email, don't write it like you're a professor at Yale, because guess what people do? I'm going to get in trouble. Okay, Google, read my email. Well, okay, Google can't read beyond the 6th grade really well. After that, the words start getting choppy, like it gets choppy. I mean, I can't even get my stupid thing to say Steve's last name correctly.
By the way, Dean, you're not the only one who can't say my last name correctly.
Okay, well, I probably am.
Technology,
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. So people need to be smart. I think engagement has always been the in my opinion, second most important thing in the recruiting life cycle. And the reason I only say second is because you got to find them before you can engage them. So it's just that's a cart before the horse type of deal. But once you've got them, yeah, engagement is really important because guess what? You're not the only one engaging with them. And it's nothing more than the connection you make with the candidate that gets you over somebody else. Me, I never go by a script when I talk to candidates. There are some people that do. We have a script. You have to do that. No, I don't want to because I want to get to know them as a person. I want them to get to know me as a person, as a representative for my company. Example, great example. Way back when I worked at Microsoft, which is way back when, there was this guy that wouldn't reply to anybody's email. I finally decided to go ahead and do it. Somebody came to me and said, "Hey, Dean, can you see what you can do?" Okay, fine. So I kind of looked him up a little bit. It was the, beginnings where you could look some things up. I found out the guy liked comics. Now I found out because I found a picture of him going to Comic-Con. So I said, now there's something I can do. So I went ahead. Yeah, when Dean takes a breath, I went ahead and contacted him about, "Hey, I saw you went to Comic-Con. I did too. I did too. What do you think about this?" Next thing we know, we're having conversations for a couple of days about comics. And then he asked, "Well, you work at this company. What kind of?" I've had a lot of people contact me and say, "What's going on?" And I said, "Oh, well, don't worry about that. I don't want to talk comics." Another day, and then I broke it to him. Needless to say, long story short, a month later, he started. But how did I get him to reply to me? I didn't worry about the job. I got him to reply to me by being a person. Luckily, I'm a comic nerd as well, so that helped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before Hunter, 1 second, before you get to Hunter's question, there's even more upstream, and this is something we've talked about, and I've talked about. It's engaging great, finding great. Go back upstream. Do you really know what you're looking for?
Well, that's for me. That's downstream as part of the research before you look, which is when you meet with your hiring manager.
And for me too. And that is that is when we start getting into pure talent advisor territory, in really understanding what it is. But we'll get back to that one. Hunter Casperson's question. Hunter, love me some Hunter. Opinions on company talent communities, aka unspecified job apps. I see very little to no action after data is captured. Seems CRMs have potential in a situation like that, but no stories of it going really well. I think part of it has to do with Dean. You and I have both, from a large company standpoint, we worked both with Smashfly and Avature.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you set things up. One little thing on talent communities. The irony these days, and this goes back to the whole ghosting thing, and this litany, this deluge of no reply emails, telling you, "I'm sorry, but you didn't pass muster with us. We felt we'd go in another direction, but we really, don't reply to this email because no one's going to read it. But do join our talent community in case you want us to stay apprised of all the good things that are coming down the pipe." Talent communities, it's how you structure them. It's what you do with them, and also how what you actually think a talent community is. To me, and I know to Dean too, because we've talked about it. A talent community is a group of similarly minded people, not like-minded, but similarly minded people who share some commonality, and it may be interest in your company. It may be along functional lines. And then within that talent community, in order for it to work, you need to create a foundation for it and build it with good material, the right color, change for the seasons, nice plantings, window boxes, flower boxes around it. And that means content. That means very specific content that's pushed out on a regular basis, and one in which people in the talent community can actually interact. But here we have far too many TA organizations who don't seem to want to interact with their talent community.
Well, the problem is I think some organizations, I'm not going to name names, don't understand the value of a talent community and don't understand the ROI of it. I think I think a lot of companies are too into the instantaneous gratification of whatever it is they're doing, that they don't understand the long-term effects something could have. And a talent community is not a short-term answer. It's a long-term answer. That it's the gift that can keep on giving once it's up and running properly.
Yeah.
But the problem is it takes time to get it up and running properly, and a lot of organizations just don't want to take the time to do it properly. I mean, when I think talent community, obviously the first person that comes to my mind is Marvin Smith, because that's his thing.
Yep. Marvin, and just so everyone, Marvin's now at the credit union
Bowen Credit Union, BECO.
And Marvin was the keeper of Smashfly.
Mm-hmm.
And he that was my time at Lockheed Martin. That was the first time I actually used Smashfly, and the way he set it up was very interesting, and it was wasn't very difficult to learn. But it goes to, again, what Hunter says. It's the CRMs had to be structured for sharing not just job information, but company information, functional information, newsletters that are out there. I speak to so many. I read so many newsletters based on functional industry leadership levels, and a good talent community is one that shares this stuff. And that would be something. You having a CRM that allows you to customize your drips, customize your contents, creates feeds for people, has special places for them to go and congregate and share with each other. That is something that technology can certainly work to incorporate.
Yeah, you're right, Hunter. It's very similar.
It's like companies are have their focus groups, typically quarterly focus groups for a product oriented company. That is the same way. It would be interesting. It would be mind blowing, mind numbing, mind opening for TA organizations to randomly choose people who would apply to their jobs before in the past whatever period, and bring them together for a sharing session, and bring some executives in to hear answers to questions like
a focus group.
Yeah, does your experience with our talent acquisition organization positively or negatively impact your desire to be a customer of ours now or in the present or in the future? It's little things like that, taking chances. It's the more you keep your head in the sand, the more you do an ostrich move and don't recognize what's going out there, the more it's going to blindside you eventually. And again, this goes towards people in TA becoming true advisors and not just order takers in a diner. Would you like some fries with that hamburger? How about a Coke or a Pepsi? Because that's where the profession has been going as a whole. And we can see it by looking at the posts on the Blue Devil, looking at the feedback from people who've gone through interviews and just seeing some of the most, unfortunately, inhuman responses to job seekers, to job applicants. I've never seen it this bad. And, we as a profession, not just us, not just the folks who are, in the I don't give a hoot phase of our career, where we're going behind the door. We're talking about the topics that people don't want to talk about or haven't spoken about. We need more people to advocate for, great, fantastic, mind-blowing talent acquisition, because it does impact the future of the profession. And when a CEO, decides that, our strategy didn't work, we're going to have to lay off half the recruiting team. That makes me question them as a leader. And so the more frequently we partner with leadership Workforce planning is stuff we talked about offline ahead of time. I don't think workforce planning has been trying to grab hold. All these great talent intelligence people. Toby Colshaw comes to mind immediately, who have been pushing for workforce planning as an integral part of talent acquisition, not just an occasional once every 3-year activity. Putting those people right at the C level when company initiatives are created and envisioned for the next 3 years. That's when you need to have a real expert start being able to put down some predictions, some numbers as to what's going to be needed to actually deliver those initiatives, and not just the CHRO. This is not a knock on all CHROs, but TA these days is substantially more robust than I think many heads of HR understand.
Most people that have become CHROs have been in the industry a long time. They got their HR degrees a long time ago, before talent acquisition was actually before workforce planning was a thing. I mean, when I got my degree, they didn't talk much about workforce planning. It was literally a part of a class. And my degree isn't as old as some of the CHROs are. So that's part of, and people, it's interesting. I think the people on high that make decisions don't do a good enough job of relying on the people who actually know. I think a lot of times they don't. Okay, that's not what I think. I'm doing what I want. Not realizing that you're asking the experts. You're not a president of a company, vice president, whoever's making decisions are not an expert in all things business. They don't know. They know what they know, and most importantly, they don't know what they don't know, which is a lot, because that's why they hire people below them. But then they don't want to rely on them. Great example. I know somebody was recently let go. The decision was made by the board of the company. The board of the company did nothing more than look at the title and say, we don't need it. Not even bothering to ask, what is that person actually doing? What do we need them to do? What does the manager think? What does this person think? What does this? Don't care. They just want to, and that's it. And the bad part is then they find out that they're going to probably need exactly what that person does, probably within 3 months. Why? Because they didn't even bother to ask. They didn't care to ask. And even if they'd asked, they wouldn't have understood what it is. But I mean, the reality is this: you really want to do it right. Ask the people that actually know. Get their input, and then make an educated decision. Doing it without that is not an educated decision. It's a emotional decision based on something.
I think I know that the decision to streamline the recruiting function in many companies is based solely on G&A, general admin costs, labor costs. And that becomes easier when talent acquisition leadership and even HR leadership doesn't know how to extrapolate or correlate, correlate TA spend to company revenue generation, to product development, to customer success.
Actually, both your words you used were correct. One is getting the info, the other is basically putting it into something that makes sense. They're both correct. They don't know how to do either.
Oh, it's not that, it's I don't know if it's necessary that they don't know how to do either. It's more in order to, God, I remember in high school, my swimming team, we were the turtles. I know turtles. You think turtles in swimming slow. That's not the case. But there was a saying that this goes back a few years. Behold the turtle. They make progress only when they stick their neck out. And that's something that we need more of in TA. The willingness to stick your neck out. To leadership, but also to do your homework and to be more knowledgeable about company functions, about not just the recruiting piece, but the financial aspects of the company, the operational aspects, obviously the organizational stuff and the analytical stuff.
So we've been on our soapbox about this.
Yeah.
And there's two things we still need to do. We actually need to say what we think is going to happen in 24, other than engagement being a big piece. And we actually need to get onto this other question that somebody asked about Chrome extensions. So, prediction for 2024. I do agree engagement is going to be important. I do believe that there is going to be a point, I want to say within Q1, maybe Q2, where hiring will start moving again. And the reason I say that is, number one, look at the stock market. Plain out and simple.
Yeah.
Number two, historically speaking, it's the way it goes. We have a year or two of less than questionable things going on and not a lot of hiring and a lot of letting go and all like that, which we've had. Some of it artificial because of COVID, some of it because people made bad decisions. And usually after that, it starts coming back up again. So Q1, Q2, most of what I hear from people and companies, Q1, late Q1, early Q2, they expect things are going to turn around and recorrect things. Now, for recruiting, something we do need to understand is that may not be a correction where the salaries stay the same as they were. Let's get real. We were in a height of recruiting for a while there where people were getting paid way more than they should. In some cases, they should have. I mean,
Wow.
I know a person that was basically 2 years in recruiting getting paid over 100K. I'm thinking to myself, really? They can spell boo, but they can't do Boolean. I mean, but they did. That's going to change. Not to say there won't be positions for that in that range, but it's going to be for the people who really can do what they got to do. This reliance on tools. And remember, I am a tool guy. I know most of the tools. I use most of the tools. I test. I know about tools that aren't even on the market yet that are coming. Not bragging, just statement of fact. And I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell them. A tool is not going to replace a recruiter or a sourcer. It's going to help the recruiter or sourcer. And the reason I say this is this, and I'm going to use an example. The tool is not going to help you find everybody. I can use a Boolean string and find people that tool doesn't have, LinkedIn doesn't have, and nobody else has. But then I can use that tool to put that list into the tool and let it find me contact info. And whatever it doesn't find, because inevitably 70 to 80% it'll find, I can do that manually. How? We go back to Boolean again. Boolean is sexy time. Hello, Hunter. I like that. So I'm going to get off my soapbox in a minute. So that's, in my opinion, you are going to see a pickup, Q1, Q2. As far as the tools go, the tools are going to push more and more and more. Sourcing is dead because of these tools. It's not dead. That's their marketing punch to try to get people to get their tool. And let me tell you a secret. Most of these tools have a place where you can use Boolean. And guess what? If you know how to use Boolean in those tools, you can find people that the tool can't find for you in their own database.
Well, the thing about sourcing and you know, if when you see us present at conferences and when you see us do things online, you know, we talk about some we have got some seriously esoteric techniques that we use. Unequivocally, they are mind-blowing, and they make for really great presentations. You know, the HRTX series from a couple of months ago, where we came on and showed our top tip, our top trick. That's great for just a real small percentage of the time. But that's what we do. You know, we do the bulk. Look, I will source on the Blue Devil. Dean will source on the Blue Devil. I am certainly not against the easy button at all. But when it comes to some of the really hardcore stuff, or the esoteric searches, or the ones that are very specific because as an incumbent in the position and the company is going in a different direction and their initiatives need to be delivered, that's where the human sourcer comes into play.
So,
but what
I was going to say, so I just put a string into the window for everybody. So LinkedIn and its 680 million users. God, I hate lying to people, but that's what they say. Mathematically, you can't see them all. All these tools have all of these.
By the way, it's not mathematically; it's algorithmically.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Algorithmically, you cannot see them all because you're limited to 1,000 results, even in Recruiter, and so on and so forth. So all these tools have almost everybody on LinkedIn, but even they have limits to how you can find the people in it. What I just did put in front of you is a string to X-ray into LinkedIn, and don't tell me ChatGPT can create it because I can tell you they can't, to find a job developer that works at Amazon who also happens to be a native or bilingual Spanish person. And if you want to really be sneaky because you don't feel like having to worry about using InMails, there's a way to do that too by simply adding any of the 27 most commonly used free emails to the end of it, like gmail.com. I just did the search and I came up with roughly 700 people, all with Gmail email addresses right in their profile, all native Spanish or bilingual Spanish, all job developers that all work at Amazon.
Or
there you go.
And the other thing you do is, as an addendum to that, or as an alternative to that, you can just put a string in a string of email and phone emojis. Separated by pipes.
Wait a minute. I got that. Hold on.
I know you have it, Dean.
Let's go with the email symbol because that one is easier. This is a simple string just for a job developer. I'm not getting too convoluted with this string, but believe it or not, there you go. And believe it or not, it works. There's also one for a phone. Those are the most common email emojis. There are others, but I find that they aren't used that much on LinkedIn. It's usually those two. And here's something else for you people that are wondering, well, how am I going to find people that are open to work or whatever? We can fix that one too. Got too many of these things as part of my problem. Okay, here we go. Simple. You got to know how LinkedIn designates people are open to work. You know how they do it? Just like that. Each one of those things is how they know somebody is open to work. The answer to the question about how many people that came up, a lot more than Google's going to let you say.
And so there are all these little subtle tools. Now, in time, will the LLMs allow you to will include this? I think so. I'm confident in the technology. I mean, I was building these systems a couple of decades ago. They've come a long way since then. Yeah. So I'm fully aware that the LLMs are going to and the underlying algorithms are going to continue to evolve and get better. But it still goes down to a prediction I have for 20. Yes, there is, Brooke. We'll get to that one in a second. I still think a prediction of mine for 2024 is that my fingers are crossed that finally we're going to see a groundswell in how recruiters as talent advisors do their intake discovery sessions. And finally, we're going to start seeing more and more job descriptions that lead with sections that read something to the effect, current hot initiatives. And maybe they're pulled off of, out of a company's Lattice HR, the KPIs, OKRs. Maybe they're pulled out of Jira. Maybe they're pulled out of PowerPoints. But these are the initiatives that when hiring somebody, you're hiring someone to solve or implement or create, and these are the ones that keep the hiring manager awake at night. Simply, being satisfied with a manager just saying, well, just copy, to say the one we used 3 years ago, I think is still good, and being okay with that as a TA professional. I think we're finally going to see the end of that. So the big prediction is we're finally going to see realistic job descriptions out there. So Brooke asked the question, Dean.
Yes.
Is there a way to search for a LinkedIn profile tagline?
Well, the tagline is normally in the top part of the LinkedIn profile. And in most cases, the people up there will have an @ symbol, which is their saying they're at this company, they're at, not all, but most. And so if you go ahead and do a X-ray in and you go ahead and do the around function around at, that will go ahead and get you most taglines. So I will go ahead and show you what I mean real quick. Let me see if I can come up with one.
I'm doing one also because I'm going to prove that there's a real simple way to do it.
Yeah, there's a number of simple ways.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So let's see. I got it. We'll modify this one a little bit and go with what's that? What do they call it? Contact info. So let's see if this works or not. Contact info, and I'm picking on myself only because I don't know what else to put. I don't want to pick on other people because I have a tagline. Let's see if it finds me. We're gonna find out. That to that. Punch, remove one, and change that to that so we have a little more room. Okay, back that up a little bit. The problem is finding the right, what's the word I'm going to use? Finding the right anchor word to use to get what we need. So... well, maybe actually it might actually be simple as that. Let's see. Yep, that's one way to do it. So basically, all I did in this case is I actually just searched for my tagline and found it immediately. But that's not going to help everybody. So, like I said, everybody's got a. What did you figure out, Steve? Do you want to go ahead?
I'm almost there. It's like anything else. When LinkedIn scrapes the page, it scrapes all the words.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's a question of looking for certain words. Again, the headline. It's an anchor too.
Yeah.
Mostly, it's a field anchor. So if you do that one here, if I go, I'm just going to use mine as an example. Let's talk about. Let me do this one here. I'm going to copy one here for a second. Come on, you ding dong. Copy, paste, and I share it. It's unfortunately I can't share it. Not going to good. So I want to go around. On New York metropolitan area. I'll type as fast as I can, people. Within 30. Similar type thing. Yes, you can use words. No, but the funny thing though about the headline words, Brooke, we could I suppose we could screen share, but then we're building it as we go, and everything depends on when the page was scraped by LinkedIn.
Got it.
By Google.
In this case, I was looking for people who used finding what cannot be found as their thing around infinite to connections. And it found everybody that's using that, which by the way is my tagline.
Yeah, so there you go. That's the way to do that. So let's talk about some other predictions.
Well, we also have to deal with the other question that we're waiting that was asked.
Okay, let's go to that one.
Okay, my company is leery of Chrome extensions. How do I work around this?
Ooh, well, a couple of things. Is it a security thing?
This was from Anabel Ruiz Morales.
Anabel Ruiz Morales.
Yes.
She and this is, by the way, when Chrome extensions first became a thing, we went through this, and primarily, if my memory serves me correct, it was a security thing.
Yep, always.
And some Chrome extensions are well designed, and they receive. I think in the Chrome store, they have ones that are a lot of people use their personal computers instead. But in the extension store, it tells you which ones are essentially good, bad, and ugly. And I guess the thing to do is you're going to have to make a business case for each one. And that's always, what do you want to, literally consider a template. Name it, name of the Chrome extension, link, developer site, use. What do you want to use it for? B, what do you expect to receive from it?
So where I work, initially,
it's a bit secure.
Where I work is very secure. And just as an FYI, I use my own computer a lot for my work as well. I have permission to, but my computer is not like most people's computer because of the nature of what I do. I have security. My security isn't at the level of my company's, but it's pretty. I even can't use certain Chrome extensions the way I have it set up, and I'm okay with it. But when I have a Chrome extension I want to use that I cannot use on my work computer, I simply have to send the information to security, and security goes through and looks at it and makes sure it's all good to go. They might ask me why I want to use it, and I will tell them. But if they say good, then I can use it. If they say bad, I can't. If they say bad, I can't use it. I usually won't use it on my personal either because there's a reason. But that's the way it is. So what needs to happen is you need to talk to the powers that be, talk to your security group, and say, hey, rather than just saying blanketly no, let's have our security team investigate and see if it's a legit extension, if it's a good extension or it's not. Now, there is also a site that will tell you about the security risks for a given extension, and I will try to find that for you while Steve talks, and I will put it in the link.
One of the things that you can do is, and I'm going to present here. I'm going to share a screen. I'm going to share this right now. When you look at your Chrome extensions, it'll tell you, for example, this one here. Review one extension is taken down from Chrome Store. Extension might be unsafe. Okay, fine. It tells you that one. Loxo Chrome session. This extension was unpublished by its developer, so I can just easily, I'll remove it and go from there. But if you read this, if you look at your Chrome extensions, I'm not going to scroll down to all of them. In the past, it'll tell you if there is an issue with them. And, here's a good example. What I'll do is I'm going to update, and it'll tell me which ones might have a problem. It'll tell you little things about them, inspections, what have you.
Sharing.
These are things. So what you may want to do is, go sit with your security person, and it's purely a security thing. And you're going to go through them one by one, give them a reason why you want to use it, and they may have to. If you have a VPN, and a VPN may dictate whether you can use something or not. So it's really the structure of your IT environment. Dean?
Yeah, let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Share screen, share my screen. Windows Excavator share. So this is the link I just put in there called CRX Excavator, and you'll see recently scanned extensions. So these are newer. You can put in any extension you want, and it gives you a risk score. So I'm going to just open one. I'm going to open the Canvas one only because that would be something. And it tells you content security policy, 377 risks, 20 permissions, risk over time. It tells you what the risks are. It tells you why. It gives you extensions to privileges fields, to tab objects, really. It tells you everything about it you need to know to determine risk or not. Now, I can tell you right now, a 400 score is not bad, to be quite honest with you. A lot of that is nothing more than you have to give it permission to allow you to use it, or it has to have access to your tabs or something like that. But it tells you what the risk is and tells you whether it's worth it or not. You guys decide. So this is Content Security Policy 377. So it gets a risk score based on its Content Security Policy of 377. Gives your extension to privileged fields of the tab object used by several APIs, including Chrome tabs and Chrome windows. In many circumstances, your extensions not need to declare tabs permission to make use of these APIs. That's the risk. You see, it says high. That's the risk you got to worry about. And you got to decide or your security people, I should say, will have to decide if that risk is worth the reward. I don't use that particular extension, so I can't answer it. But I will see if I can find one that I do use. Let's see, Chrome and Extension Manager. Let's see if they have this one. Extension Normally, I would go ahead and get the extension. Wait a minute. Did I spell something wrong here? Because I just saw it a second ago. Well, we'll use this one right here. This is mine. So its score is 525. That's pretty high. That's reasonably high. Content security policy, optional permissions, and vulnerability scan results. So let's see. But you see how these are medium? That's not that bad. Gives your extension access to Chrome Storage API, gives your extension access to Chrome Management API. Okay, so here's what the tool does. It allows me to quickly turn on and off my Chrome extensions and search for one. I have hundreds of Chrome extensions, 43 active, but there are hundreds of them. This allows me to quickly find one and decide if I want to turn it on or off. That's all it does.
Yeah, and so you know, when you're trying to make the case to your IT security department, sit with them on this one, and let them, you know, analyze and look at it, and you know, come up with a line of which, if a you know, arbitrarily, if they're against all Chrome extensions, negotiate a line, a score upon which, okay, if anything's above or below this, we'll keep or no keep. Is that a deal? And always have a special sourcing machine for you.
Yeah,
which is the whole thing. That's enough for this right now.
But wait, the thing to keep in mind is don't just pay attention to the score, though. Come down here. This is the thing. That score might be high, but if you come down here and there's nothing but low, the score is high because there's like 5 low things, and cumulatively they add up. So it's not just about the score. Come down and find out why. This is a high. I would be worried using it because it's a high. The one I showed you before were mediums. That would not concern me, especially given what it wants access to. So it's the score and then the permissions. That's the big key. Most of the time, your security people are going to be worried about the permissions more than anything, because what will it give access to? If it's going to give access to the ATF CRM you're using, they're probably not going to let you use it.
Okay.
There you go.
Back to some more predictions. But AI, I think, you know, we're all talking about AI. You know, I think every presentation Dean and I have given this year individually is.
Are we going to get on our soapbox about this?
No, not yet. Look, if there are no easier words, better words to use than this, but for the average or below average recruiter, using AI, kind of like a average to below average student, using AI, using a ChatGPT to build a Boolean or write a I hope this AI generated in-mall finds you well type of engagement, is not going to make you much better than average or below average. My predictions are, again, based on hopefulness that as a profession, we spend more time on our own self-education, team education, and customer education. And that means, you know, delving into, you know, all the different nuances of the use of AI in recruiting. Don't just don't just listen to us. Don't just listen to you know, people speaking at conferences. You know, read articles yourself. Try something. Do your own A/B testing. But always ask the question, I wonder why the system spit out that as a response. Let me try to see if I can truly understand how it works. Open up the hood, look at the engine. I'm hoping that this is the year where we get real, regardless of your area, whether you're healthcare, whether you're customer success, whether you're sales, whether you're go-to-market, whatever it is, be curious. I think we've finally been beating this, lack of a better word, into people, but please be serious about it. I think some other things are, good gosh, be a mentor. I think, you know, we've seen one benefit of, and it's horrible saying this, but one benefit of all the RIFs and TA is that we see how the communities people are helping each other. The communities of us are so much more important than ever before. There are blogs, there are podcasts that speak to what we can do for each other. You know, embrace the humanity of the people you covet. Don't call them candidates. Don't call them human capital. Call them people, and treat them accordingly. That's my hope for one of my hopes for 2024.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting about that, Steve?
Mm.
Now, hear me. I'm going to go up on a tangent. Recruiting is part of what? Human resources. What Steve just said is bring the human back to human resources. Bring the human back to recruiting. Be people, not entities, not robots, not binary, meaning boom. Be human. And that's the thing. What some of you may not know is just before we got on here, I got a call from someone pretending they were somebody, and while they're talking, I'm searching, I'm basically tracing their phone, and they were full of baloney. But at least it was a real person. I get probably 20 robocalls a day, and I finally got mad yesterday and called one of them back and got a real person. If you really want to talk to me, I don't know, try being a human being. I'm not going to answer robocalls. I don't like robocalls.
You don't?
I agree with Steve. I think bringing the human back in human resources, and that includes recruiting, by the way, would be awesome. Because I got news. One of the things I do keep track of, because I'm always curious with AI, and we'll get on that soapbox in a minute, is how are candidates reacting to all of this lack of humanity or human in it. I'll tell you right now, right good. 95% of candidates, if they get an email and they think it's written by an AI or it's a mass email, just throw it away and don't even want to talk to the people. 98% of people who get a robocall from someone leaving it saying they're from a company and they want to talk to them about a job, and they can tell it's not a real person. I mean, let's get real, you can tell. And if you can't, there are extensions out there that can tell you. They don't reply. They don't want nothing to do with the company. There's a reason. You know, when they get the job, they're not going to be talking to a robot. They're going to be talking to a human being. We're not in the Jetsons yet, where it's a robot that we're dealing with. They want to deal with human beings because people. I think sometimes companies forget when you're interviewing somebody, they're interviewing you too. It goes both ways. You might deal with a human. Now, there's something really high level for you, Steve.
I know. I think my week is over, Dean. There's no Chrome extension for this.
Yeah, no.
But we can go on and on. I just think better practices. It's more for me a wish list for the year. I'm wishing for less subconscious or conscious bias. I'm really looking for that talented advisor wave to hit the profession, and that means things like, really, again, knowing the real job, advising C-leadership about how initiatives impact people, how they impact hiring, building real position rubrics. So you're not, and this is what most companies do. I know that you don't recruit against a job description. If you're recruiting against a job description, you're injecting so much bias into it. If you're recruiting against a rubric, and a rubric is all, you have these foundational constructs, and you have what constitutes minimal, basic, strong, superb for each, and then you train the interviewers on how rubrics can help them. And then when you finally go through all your interviews, you have your key criterion for cutting them off or pushing them forward. You can use those specific criteria in your dispositions. You tell people, look, this is why we actually decided not to go any further with you because of these. Look, I'm a human, and this is what I do in my dispositions. Look, I read thousands of resumes a week. If I messed up or I didn't see these in you, please let me know. Use a real name. Don't use a no reply email. It works. People appreciate that. And you would think that if you give people a way to contact you and debate what your decision, you'd be wrong. Because if you do your talent advisor ship well, and you know what the real initiatives, you know what the real criterion are, and you simply say, look, I looked at yours, I looked at these, they're not there. You know, you'd be surprised how few people actually debate you for it. And those who don't debate, you will almost get 100% thank you from them for being honest.
So something to keep in mind with all this that I just came up with is, did anybody here know there's a site called Recruiter Rater? Basically, you go and you get to rate your recruiter and rate your experience with the recruiter and the company and all like that. And let me help you out. It ain't good. And the biggest complaint, being treated like a product and not a person, not getting feedback. That's the biggest complaints. Not getting feedback, being treated like a product, like a piece of meat or something you sell in a store instead of a person.
Yeah. And that's the humanity. You know, if anyone who's been to college lately, that is like Rate My Professor. And here, let me just pop it into the chat for everybody. Oh yeah, Recruiter Rater. It's also part of what, the Job Slinger, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's numerous sites that do it. That was just one of the first ones I kind of looked at and thought, okay, well, you know,
Yeah, but I like these. I like these. I've always enjoyed Rate My Professor. For those who don't know what Rate My Professor is, when you're in college and you sign up for classes, you'll see the sections that are the highest professor score get filled the fastest, and the ones with the real low scores. Oh God, I guess I have to take that. And I always thought, wouldn't it be fun if on job descriptions we had like rate my hiring manager, how well they developed talent, how well they gave feedback, and let's see how that impact, and also the recruiter along with it. This is the recruiter score for this one. This is the hiring manager score for this one, and let's see how it impacts things. Again, I wouldn't be surprised. Boy, would I would clap that. I big 2024 clap over that one if that comes to fruition. And frankly, straight up, all of us have been crappy recruiters at one time. We all make mistakes. We have workloads that are very high, and we mess up. You know, your medal as a TA professional is how you handle those situations, how you can pull someone back from the brink of hating you and hating the company because of how you acted. Anyway, how's that for Dean and Steve's excellent sourcing adventure for, I don't know what the day it is. It is December 20th. Okay, so tomorrow in the Northern Hemisphere, we have the shortest day of the year. Means absolutely nothing. We're still going to be working.
Except we're still in the dark a little.
Yeah, and Brooks and the dogs are still going to be on Brooks' bed.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. They won't leave it.
Hey guys,
no matter what I do.
Our next one, I'm guessing, is the third week in January. I don't know that for a fact, but I hope so, because Steve and I will be in San Diego the fourth week in January.
No, it is. Third it is.
And let's get some questions going here. Whether you have them when you come on or you send them to Brooke ahead of time, she'll send them to us. You know, sourcing
or contact us directly. We know you're all connected with us on the Blue Devil. Send us a question.
Send them. Send them to anyone.
Yeah, we will.
Just
we will do them anonymously. We don't have to. You don't have.
We're not going to tell you who asked, but we, get them to us so we know. You got things you got to find, contact info, extensions, just general. How do I handle a hiring manager that's difficult? Let me help you out. They're all difficult, so there's an easy one. And anything. We've been doing combined. We've been doing this over 60 years. I think we can handle it. I hope.
Oh, that's horrible. Anyway, Kayla, thank you for that comment. Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah, Merry Christmas to you.
And guess what, Kayla? Guess what? I don't believe we are connected on the Blue Devil.
Kayla, you should connect with both of us on the Blue Devil, as he calls it, if you'd like. If we're not, I don't know.
You're not obliged to do so, but you're more than welcome to. And,
yes,
anything that we can do, we will. Your team, we will We're not kidding. Get on the horn, get on a chat and sit with your team.
Yeah, it doesn't look well. I think Kayla and I might be connected, but not first level. But yeah, we'll get on a Zoom call with you. We did. I think after the last one, we got on a Zoom call with a few people.
We did. So I've got a question though, Brooke, is what's coming down on the RD pipeline?
Well, we have 12 days happening right now.
I know I'm working on. No.
we have 2 days left of 12 days, and there's a webinar actually for those in recruiting that are still job seeking, as we know that there are many in the industry. We have a webinar actually to help you with your job search in the beginning half of January.
Cool.
So,
who's running it?
Very cool.
Rachel from Woken.
Yep. Know her. That'll be good.
Yeah, we're excited about that. She's got a lot of knowledge, and she is pretty stoked to share it with you guys. So,
thank you, Raul.
Let me grab that link. Actually,
yeah, put it in there. Let's promote.
Recruiting daily webinars. Here we go.
When's the next HRTX?
The next HRTX will be in March.
Okay. Well, I assume
third week of March.
I assume you'll get a hold of Steve and I for whatever it is we're going to do.
Sure thing.
So on that note,
what do you want to do?
I think.
What do you want to do, Steve? You want
throw some themes at me.
There's some what?
Themes.
Throw some themes at me.
For HRTX in March. What do you want to do?
We'll do that. I actually gave one to Noel yesterday.
What?
Awesome.
Yes. So I don't remember what.
Was it for you or for us?
Oh, it was for an HRTX show.
Oh, okay.
It was all.
And I mean, like, it could be a content theme. It doesn't have to be something silly, like.
No. I don't do silly.
Silly is fun.
He doesn't wear hats.
It was something along the lines of the one we did a couple of HRTX ago. We each spoke about our one cool trick that we use.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, why don't we do that? That would be cool.
But we did that. But there was something. There was. I'll think of it. I'm tired.
But it was something for us to do together.
No, it was something that we could have as an entire HRTX show.
Right. So I think
like 30 people come on and all share just one tip real fast.
Yeah,
type of thing.
That would be bad.
Yeah. Oh, I know what it was. It was each person does a tip. You look at the entire talent, the whole time, the TA workflow ecosystem, and you break it. You have X number of people for branding. I'm lumping very very broad. X number for sourcing, X number for recruiting, X number for onboarding, whatever. And we talk about what is a cool AI-ish tip for each one of those.
AI.
I like that.
AI-ish. I like AI-ish.
AI-ish is nice.
I think you're going to find an invite in LinkedIn, Steve.
That's really okay.
I just got one.
It covers like what people are interested in, but it's also ish, so it's useful.
Well, we should. That's good. Don't get me wrong, but that's not for a whole day of HRTX.
Well, we did one. We took some roles through the whole end-to-end hiring process. I think people like that too.
Yeah. So I think if you look at the entire ecosystem, and all these different flows and where things come in, all the different pieces of it, I think we could do something with that.
Yeah, we could probably.
We do.
Do we have time to put it together before March?
Oh, of course we do.
There's always time.
So I'll go into the sourcing area, obviously.
Obviously.
Anyway,
I must go have some. I need to get some TA num-nums right now.
I need you to give me a call when you get a chance, Steve, because I have some info for you. You might find interesting.
Okie dokie, I'll call you as soon as it's done.
As soon as you get your number.
Yes.
Y'all are great. Send me an article.
Bye. Bye, Gavin.